Hello everyone, this is Shannon with Waffle Flower Crafts. Today we are joining the Fall and Winter Coffee Lovers blog hop, and I have a really fun coffee themed holiday card that's inspired by chalkboard art to share with you today. I'm starting with an A2 top folding card base made from 110-pound black cardstock. I'll be using these 3 Waffle Flower stamp sets today. Deck the Halls. I'm going to use some snowflakes from that set. This is Peace on Earth, sentiment from that set, and then that cute coffee time set. I'm going to use that main coffee image. So I've actually pre-stamped all of my design on some scrap paper. I did this just so I could make sure I had my positioning correct. So when I line everything up to the MISTI, I'm going to use this scrap or mock card front and just line my stamps directly up with my pre-stamped images. I really like to do this sometimes if positioning is really critical, because right now I have those 2 coffee cups and I want to make sure I save enough room on the right to stamp that coffee cup a second time. So I just wanted to make sure I had all my positioning correct. And this is also a great way to kind of pre-design your card sometimes if you just want to think it through first before you stamp it on your nice cardstock. So I definitely recommend making kind of a mock card. It really does help with your designing. So I put down some anti-static powder and now I'm inking my stamps up with Versamark ink and I'm just stamping them. I'm now going to pour on some white embossing powder over all my stamped images and sentiment, and then I will heat set this with my heat tool. Now I'm going to move on to stamping that coffee cup a second time. So I just positioned it in my MISTI by hand and then put down some anti-static powder, and now I'm inking it up once again with Versamark ink and I'll stamp it. I was able to position it in such a way that I didn't need a mask or anything, so that was really nice because that just saved one more step. So I just did it right next to each other and it just kind of looks like one is in front of the other because the lines overlap a little bit. So I poured on the embossing powder and heat set, and now I'm ready to stamp my border. For my border here, I'm going to use the Deck the Hall stamp set. I'm going to use these 2 snowflakes from the set, the large and the small snowflake here. So I'll just remove them from the set and put them to the side. I'm also going to incorporate that little starburst or star here that's from the Peace on Earth stamp set that actually is part of the Merry Christmas sentiment that I used earlier. This is a well-loved stamp set and I've actually already cut that little burst from the sentiment long ago, so I just removed it again from the sentiment, and now I'm going to position my starburst and my snowflakes on an acrylic block, and again I'm going to do some heat embossing. So I applied some anti-static powder and I am inking up my 3 stamps with Versamark ink, and I'm going to hand stamp around the border these 3 snowflakes. I'm going to stop just at that last corner there. I'm going to keep that clean so I have a spot for me to grab and hold the card while I pour on the embossing powder, and then I will heat set those sections that I did stamp and poured on the powder, and then I'll come back and do that last area just so I have a spot, a nice clean spot where I can keep my hands so I don't mess it up. So now I'm just stamping that last little corner there of my card front with my snowflakes, and I'll do one little spot there where I thought was a little bare, and then I'll pour in the embossing powder and then heat set, and then I will be done with this card front. Now that my stamping is all done, I'm going to actually color my images in with some Prismacolor colored pencils. I love to color on colored cardstock with Prismacolor pencils. They really are so bold and vibrant. It's a really cool look, and especially looks like chalkboard on this black cardstock. So I've started with a lighter red and colored the inner edge of the cups, and now I'm moving on to a darker red on the outer edge. This just makes it look round. It has you're just creating a nice gradation on that cylinder to really create that illusion of roundness. Once I put down that darker red, I kind of go back over where the 2 colors meet with that lighter and darker red again, keep blending until I have a nice beautiful gradation. Now I'm going to repeat that process here on the little warmer of the cup. I'm starting with a golden color, and then I'll move to a darker brown. I am trying to be careful and avoiding getting any of this colored pencil on the white embossing powder or white embossed areas. It's pretty easy to do with a sharp pen, with a well sharpened pencil. And once I finish these warmers, I'll move up to the top of the cups with just a white colored pencil. This white colored pencil is just the perfect thing for really creating that chalkboard look. And now I'm going to add it to the border now of my card. This is just going to really kind of create a nice frame. I think it really is the part that really amps this up and makes it look like a chalkboard card. So I am employing a coloring technique here, which is a crosshatch style coloring technique. And I kind of, basically all you're doing is coloring at one direction continually. Keep your strokes in that one direction, a kind of angled direction, a 45-degree angle. And once you've colored a section with that 45-degree angle, then you'll change directions and color at a different angle that's perpendicular to what you colored before. And that will create a really beautiful crosshatch look that I think really does mimic chalkboard art signs. Now I wanted to add a little bit more color here, so I'm now continuing that crosshatch coloring style, but with my reds. I'll go back and forth between my dark red and light red. Really no rhyme or reason here, just to incorporate the two colors so it's a little bit more interesting than just that dark red. And I think this really does kind of add a little bit more color to this pretty simplistic card, but really does make it look more festive and merry. So once I work my way all the way around with my red, I am done with this card. I'll now hold the card up to the camera so you can get a good look at all the details in the coloring. I really like how this card turned out. I really do think it mimics chalkboard art pretty well. If you don't want to try that crosshatch coloring style for the border, you could definitely ink blend white pigment ink instead, and maybe even some red pigment ink to mimic and get a pretty similar look. I hope you guys enjoyed today's card and video. If you want any more information on the products I use, please visit Waffle Flower, and you can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook for more creative ideas. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.